Hi lovely, so this is the sewing tutorial of the armhole princess that alternate dress I drafted earlier on. I posted it on my page already. So I've gone ahead to cut out the center front in fold, the lining also in fold and also estate to it. Then I cut out two pieces of the side front and also lining and estate to it. I did the same process for the back part also. The center back is not cut in fold. Then I went ahead to use half inch and allowance all round. So I'm making use of the soft padded. You can make use of a strong padded, but I just feel like making use of a soft padded for this tutorial. So now I'm going to go ahead and just mark where I'm going to place my padded. So I'm going to come up from my chest line by 1 inch. You can actually come up by 1.5 inches if you want. So but here I'm coming up by 1 inch from my chest line. So I'm going to repeat the same process for the center front. I'll come up by 1 inch, and then it's good. My padded is going to start from this point here down to my under bust point line. So after I was done cutting out my padded, the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and sew this round. So as you see me doing. So the side padded is the wideness is by 5 inches. You can make use of 6 inches depending on how covered you want the side cup to be. And now also I've gone ahead to cut out this also. You can see it's stopping at my under bust point line. As you can see now, I'm going to go ahead and just stitch this down. So after I was done stitching this down, I went ahead to cut out the excess. Now I'm going to place this way. As you can see, so I'll make sure the padded is matching each other. The padded of the side front is matching the padded of the center front. Then I'll go ahead to pin this down this way. Now pinning it down first will make you to know if you have an accurate measurement, just like I have an accurate measurement now. I'll go ahead and repeat the same process for the other side also. Then after doing that, I'll just quickly go ahead and stitch down with half inch for both cups. So now after I'm done stitching now with half inch for both cups, after joining the cups together, the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and notch this point here. I'm just going to notch my padded area. Then I'm going to be using my tailor's ham to actually iron flat this joining of the cup. So I'm going to from the back part first. I'll iron this flat on the table, and then I will place this on my tailor's ham this way, and then iron flat also. I'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now after doing that, this is what I have. Now I've gone ahead to apply my stay on my lining, and then sew the same way I sew the front main front itself. Now I'm going to be placing it this way to actually turn the main dress with this lining. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this, leaving the top part and the down parts. Now after I'm done doing that, this is what I have for the front part. I'll go ahead to start sewing the back part, but first of all I'm going to stitch this top part here also. So now I'm going to sew my back part, but first I'm going to notch out my zipper allowance on my material itself, and then after doing that I'm going to remove the pattern paper. So I'm going to remove the lining of the center back and the side back. As you can see, my stay, I placed my stay for the back part also, and this is just to give it that firmness, give the material that firmness. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch with half inch, but I'm going to pin this down first. So because this is a princess that pattern, it's advisable for you to pin this down first to get an accurate measurement, to make sure the both edges are matching each other before you go ahead to sew this. Now after doing this, I'm going to repeat the same process for the other side, and then I'll go ahead to sew with half inch all around. Now after I'm done doing that, you can see how this is looking like. The next thing I'm going to do now is to merge these two together this way, and then I'm going to bring my front part, there is the armhole area, and then I will trim it this way. So this was what I was explaining on the drafting of this tutorial. I was explaining later on I'm going to curve shape the armpit area, which I just did now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to apply my lining. So I didn't add stay to my lining part because there was not enough stay for me to add. You can also do it this way. If you have stay, you can also apply it to your lining also. It's still the same thing. So this was what I was explaining earlier on, that I notch out my zipper point, my zipper allowance on the material itself. Now doing this will make you to know where to actually attach your zip from. You remember we used to, I minus half inch for to avoid a zipper bulginess. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is just to top stitch my lining, and then I'll go ahead placing the right side facing the right side of the material. Now after doing that, I'm going to first of all stitch the armhole area, then top stitch it, and then before I will come back to close the two sides and also the zipper allowance side. So this is what I'm trying to explain. I've gone ahead to stitch out the zipper, the armhole area. I'll go ahead to notch this down. So I'm just going to top stitch it here just like this from the lining part. Now after doing that, I'm going to turn it over like this, and then I'll close the side and also the zipper area. So this is what I also did for the front sewing also. Now after I'm done doing that, as you can see, so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I have 1.5 inches for this top part here for my zipper allowance. Then at this down part, I'll make sure I have 1 inch. Remember, I minus half inch for the zipper bulginess to avoid it. Now after doing that, I'm going to be placing my zip. So I like making use of this invisible head zip. It's a gown zip. It's sold for 250 naira because it's more stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I place it this way. So now this is the main front. I'm going to turn it over this way because I'm trying to sew this as an invisible zip. Now from that point, I notch at the top part from that 1.5 inches as zipper allowance. I'm going to come down a bit by half inch, making sure that pin at my zip is down a little bit by half inch to create space for to fix my halter neck um part, after neck design. So now after doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and place this way. Then I will make sure this down part of the zip is touching that 1 inch at the waist point here. So my zip is going to be looking like in a bit slanted method, but it's okay. Now after I'm done sewing it, as you can see, it's looking a little bit slanted. It is perfectly okay. Then I left half inch for the stitch joining allowance at the down part. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to place it this way, and then place the other part of my back. Now after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just stitch this way, following the same method I use in stitching the other zipper to my back pattern. Now after I'm done doing it, this is how my zipper is looking like, as you can see. So we're doing this way, and we're going to avoid bulginess at the zipper area. So another thing I want to explain is, if you want your collar, your zipper to get to your collar, you can just go ahead and add the collar first before placing your zip. Now after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I have the same shape, like measurement for the two sides. So this is for the front and the back. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the collar. Now I'm going to be minusing 1 inch before I will start taking the measurements, and this is because of how I drafted it earlier on. Then I'm going to come out by 1 inch again, so I'm going to be having 10 inches for the front. Now I'm going to place that 10 inches from this other side of the back, beginning of the back part here at the neck. I'm going to make sure I'll stop at that zipper allowance, and then I will continue to what I have. So at the end of the day, what I have there was 18 inches. Now this 18 inches, I've gone ahead to bring out a plain paper that is folded by 2. Now I'm going to divide that 18 inches by 2 also to get 9 inches. Now I'm going to place it this way, and then I'll mark out the 9 inches and then rule a straight line on this point. So make sure to get enough white paper and also fold it by 2. Now I'm going to be coming up by 1 inch here, and then I'll rule a straight line this way. So this is going to give me like a guideline to what I'm drafting here. Now from that line here, I'm going to come on by 1.5 inches, and then I will slant this meeting the middle of that line I have there this way. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to come on by 1.5 inches for my neck, the collar, the length of the collar, the boldness of the collar. Then I'll go ahead and just mark it this way all round. You can see that it is in a curvy method right now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just to go in by quarter of an inch at that top part, and then I'll slant it this way. And this is because I want my the neck collar to actually balance properly on my neck. Now after doing that, I'll just add ½ inch sewing allowance, and then I'll cut this out. And this is basically all for the outer neck collar. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to just place this on my fabric and cut out 2 pieces of it. Now if you're going to be adding zip, if you want your zip to actually get to the collar itself, you can go ahead and add your zipper allowance on the collar while drafting it out. But mine, I'm going to be using like a bra hook to just hook it there. Or if you want to make use of like a button, just go ahead and apply your button rope to it on one side while you are sewing it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and just cut out this. Like I said, I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces of this, 1 piece for the lining, 1 piece for the main fabric, and then I've gone ahead to add my stay on it. Now after doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and place it this way. So what I mean by, if you're going to be making use of a rope, just go ahead and add your rope, and then before closing it this way on one part of it. Now after I'm done doing that, the next thing I'm going to do after closing it at the topper parts, I'm going to go ahead and just notch it this way. Remember, it is that place that is like curve at the top that you are going to sew stitch down with the 2 sides before notching it. Now I'm going to go ahead and place it this way. Then I will use my iron to fold like ½ inch of the stitching allowance. I'll just go ahead, use my iron to iron this flat. It's going to help me while I'm trying to stitch this on my material on the main top itself. Now it is one side that I actually did this, the other side I didn't do it, which is this side. Now I'm going to go ahead and notch the middle point of this my collar. But mind you, it is the main surface of the collar that I iron down ½ inch stitching allowance to help me when top stitching it at the front. And then for the main top, I'm going to also stitch this down, and then I'll look for the mid point and notch it. So after I'm done doing that, from the back of this my top, from the back itself, I'm just going to turn it to the back part, that place that has the lining. I'm going to go ahead and place it this way. So watch closely what I'm doing. I make sure that the notch I have on my collar and the notch I have on the top is matching each other before I bend ahead to pin this down with about ½ inch. Meaning the lining of the collar facing the lining of the main top. After I'm done doing that, I'm going to bring the back part and then I will place it this way. So watch closely what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to flip it this way and then I'll start pinning down. So because my zip didn't get to my collar part, that is the reason why I'm actually doing this way. That's the reason why I placed my zip before applying my collar. Now if you want your zip to actually get to your collar, first of all place your collar before applying your zip. But just remember, when drafting your collar, you have to add your zipper allowance of 1.5 inches on both sides. Now I'm just going to go ahead and pin this way, and I will repeat the same process on the other side. Now after I'm done doing that, this is what I have. As you can see, I've gone ahead to use half inch to pin this all round. Now I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and sew it with half inch, and I'll be right back. So after I was done sewing it, as you can see what I have here, I'm just going to notch this down, and then I will use this part that I'm just going to cut out this zipper allowance excess that I have. That is that zip excess at the top that I have, and then I'll go ahead to top stitch this from the main surface of my top. Now this is the reason why I have to use my iron to fold, to press down that half inch, so it will be easy for me to actually top stitch this. Now I'm going to go ahead to pin this down. This is very important. Just pin this down to make sure everything is balanced before going to your sewing machine to top stitch on top. So after I'm done doing this, I'm just quickly going to top stitch on top right now. Now after I was done top stitching on top, this is what I have. So this is where I'm going to be applying my bra hook on. Now this is how it is looking like. You can see how nice this came out. As you can see, this is the front part, and then this is the back part. So this is how it's looking also at the back. Like, this is the lining area. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to join this together and then take my bust measurement. So my bust circumference is 20 inches. I'm going to mark that 20 inches and then divide what I have left there, which is about 1.5 inches. Then on my under bust point, I'm going to take my under bust circumference. As you can see, after I'm done taking it, the remaining stuff I have there, the remaining allowance I have there, I'm going to divide it by 2 this way, and then I'll just connect it this way to the top point. Now on my waist point here, I'm going to come up a little bit by half inch. As you can see what I'm doing here, and then I'll take my waist measurement and then divide what I have left as my allowance, divide it by 2, and then I will mark the point there and then connect it this way. So make sure everything is at the right point. Make sure your under bust point is correct. As you can see what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to go ahead and then remeasure what I have from my bust point, measure it 20 inches, as you can see, and then I'll just repeat the same process on this other side. So now I'm just taking my main body measurement here. So what I have left, I'm just going to connect it this way for my body measurement. Then I will do the same thing for my waist measurement. I will take the 17 inches of my circumference, my waist circumference. What I have left, I'm just going to mark it this way. Then I'll go ahead to stitch this down. So now for the skirt part, I'm going to be posting a tutorial on how to cut like a straight fitted skirt to actually attach as gown. Now I'm just going to go ahead and just make like a small design, like a wrapper, or I don't know how to place this. I'm just going to just do me here because I don't have enough material to work with. So I'm just trying to create something with what I have left. So this is just like creating your own design or your own wrapper or your own whatever you just want to create at the front part. But I'm going to be dropping a tutorial on how to cut out the down part of this gown with slits at the back. Now after I'm done doing this, I went ahead to stitch to shape the top part, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure what I have on my waist circumference to make sure I'm going to be minusing my zipper allowance. So before I start taking my normal round waist measurement, so I'm going to make sure what I have is actually accurate. What I have at the two back of my top is accurate. What I have at the middle part is accurate. Now after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and then just trim out any excess I have here. Now after doing that, next thing I'm going to do is to bring out the front part. This is what I have after I was done doing my own thing at the front part here, and after I was done shaping it. So this is, I'm going to be posting a tutorial on how to actually draft this skirt part later on. Now this is the front part. I'm just going to go ahead and notch the middle point of the front. So just go ahead and fold it this way. Make sure your zipper length is correct at the back, and make sure your skirt zipper length is correct, also is accurate. So now I'm going to go ahead and just place this way. The zipper point of the skirt, that is that notch I have for the zipper point of the skirt and the zipper point of the top, it should be facing each other. That is the zipper allowance of the skirt and the top that I notch should be facing each other. Then the joining of the top at the side and the joining of the skirt at the side should be facing each other. That is the only time you know that what you are doing here is actually accurate. So as you can see, is actually accurate. It is facing each other. The joining of the two sides of the skirt and the top is facing each other. Now I'm going to go ahead and just continue it this way. I will make sure the notches I have for the middle of the skirt and the notch I have for the middle of the top is facing each other correctly. Just as you see what I'm doing here, you can see the notches are facing each other. Now I'll do the same thing for the other side of this dress. I'll make sure the two joining of the other side is facing each other. And then I'll go ahead to pin it down. Then I will repeat the same process for the other side of the back. I'll make sure the zipper allowance, the place that I notch, is facing the zipper allowance of the skirt that I notched out. Now after doing that, I'll just go ahead and pin this down. Knowing this will actually make you know that you are actually doing the right thing. Now I like joining my top and my skirt this way because it's more easier for me, and it's as if it holds my waist more because I did not use any boning for this particular top. Now I'm going to go ahead and join it this way. I'm going to make sure the skirt allowance is facing the back part. Then the top allowance is a little bit slanted upwards. Then I'll go ahead and sew with 1/2 inch all round. Now after I'm done doing that, this is what I have, guys. Now I'm going to go ahead to place my zip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this my zipper part, the down part here, and then I will zip it to the top, and then I will turn it to the back of this dress. So this is what I actually mean. After doing, I'm just going to go ahead from that place that I saw my zip and stop. I'm going to continue to the place I want my zip to actually end on my skirt part. Now after I'm done doing that, this is what I have. After I'm done applying my zip, this is it for the front part, guys. You can see the lining and the joinings are actually accurate. The zip placement is accurate, and this is totally all for this top, guys. So guys, this is the hook I'm going to be using for my collar on my screen here. So don't forget to comment, share, like. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.